What's up, guys? I can't believe it, but I can't believe I accomplished this. So here's how the story went. I've been on YouTube, heard about all this Pokemongo stuff, and basically if you haven't heard about the game, it's very well known. Everyone around the world's playing it, and you basically use your phone and you catch Pokemon in real life using GPS. Now, leveling up and catching Pokemon is really slow. Unless you're like really lucky and you live somewhere really good, it seems like it's tough to even find Pokemon. Usually it's just like deserted. And at the time I was very jealous, not jealous, but like I saw these videos on YouTube where they were like, oh my goodness, I just found a cluster of Pokestops, 4 Pokestops right next to each other. And Pokestops are basically places where if you stand next to them, they give you free stuff every 5 minutes. So if you have a cluster, you get free experience, you get to level up fast, you get more Pokemon, you get more Pokeballs, you get more random items, and you pretty much level up much faster. But what about the rest of us who couldn't find 4 Pokestops? So that's what I thought. That's what I thought was the case, right? And that was the end of it. I just saw these videos and I was like, man, those people are so lucky. Or is that the end? Because then I started thinking, what if this isn't the end? What if there's more to the puzzle than just this? What if there's a cluster of Pokestops out there that I'm just unaware of? So I went exploring, drove around everywhere, and I did it. After a ton of exploring, an area I already know very well, but not in the Poke world, I found it. Or at least it seems to be the case. I don't know. A Pokemon haven, a Pokemon heaven. Over 10 Pokestops clustered within less than a quarter mile of each other. Check this out. You see those dots? I'm standing on one right now. I'm sorry if it's blurry, but that's just how it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Are you kidding me? 13 Pokestops. All within one area. That is just insane. So how is this possible? Well, first off, you just gotta explore. You never know. It's kind of weird because at first it seemed like, oh, Nintendo knows what they're doing, but not always. See, what occurs sometimes is they've been pretty much setting Pokestops to churches and monuments and structures. So you gotta look for things where it's literally a art fixture, or it's not necessarily a really well-known sculpture or monument, but it's something nearby. And that's exactly what I found. I'm so excited, and I found this yesterday and I finally had time to film this. So I'm going to show you what I mean, because this is literally just one of these small monuments. You want to find these places where they have pretty modest monuments, and because they're so modest, you can get a huge cluster of them. I'm guessing like Nintendo is using some type of online database. People are saying it's some type of, they're taking it off, scraping it off Google Maps or something like that. But I'm thinking it might be Yelp or something. Maybe it is Google, but look, this is a monument. Literally, it's literally a chili pepper. Like, this is like an amateur type monument of some sort, and it's a Pokestop. So look for those types of things, because if you have some type of local fair nearby, you might just be able to find something like this, where there's a ton of clusters of these like mini monuments that aren't like huge or really well known, but they count as Pokestops. Now, my question though is, how come no one else is here? Literally, like, no one is here despite this being like a heaven for Pokestops. I saw someone yesterday who literally came here at like 11:30 p.m. And yes, I did come here at 11:30 p.m. It was literally pitch black outside, and he was still in the woods running around these Pokestops. It was ridiculous. So I'm gonna go explore because I finally had time to see if this is actually legit. There's a small chance that it's not, but I'm pretty sure it is. And basically, we're gonna see if it's legitimately 10 Pokestops. And while I'm doing this, I just want to give you 3 major tips for doing well in Pokemon Go, this craze of a video game. First tip is to realize that although Pokestops are important, time put into the game is probably more important. You know, if you can't find a cluster of Pokestops, sometimes you can still win by just spending more time. In fact, some guy out there probably has no life and he can spend 10 hours a day playing this game. You're gonna beat a person who has found a cluster of Pokestops because you can just spend more time moving about in the game and getting more XP. So that's one way of getting ahead of your competition. Tip number 2. Okay, I'm on my way to my second Pokestop, and this is actually legitimately something that's not particularly, I'm not sure if it's actually going to be 13 Pokestops. And the reason I say that is because what this place is some type of like local monument place, which means it might not be free. Some of those are over there, but as I go deeper through this area, it might not be free, which means I have to pay for it, which means I can't stay here, and I sure as hell am not paying to play Pokemon Go. So I'm not going to pay real money. I'm just going to observe the area and see if it's actually legit, see if these Pokestops are real. So tip number 2 out of the 3 tips I'm going to share with you. Second tip for leveling up and getting better. This is kind of a cheat or hack, and I recommend you don't do this unless you want to. Oh, check that out. Look at that beauty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokestops just on my map. There's more, but my phone keeps freezing. So it's not the phone, it's the game. The game just sucks right now. I literally have to like close it and then restart it. But tip number 2 is get on a skateboard, a bike, or a car, and as long as you're under 20 miles per hour, it counts. Now what can you do with this? Well, you get XP as you walk, but also make sure you incubate eggs. So if you don't know how to do that, basically you hit the Pokemon tab and then you swipe to the left and it'll open up another tab, and basically you get eggs usually from leveling up or a Pokestop. So what you basically do is at these Pokestops you simply swipe left or right and you get those eggs and then you incubate them, and then basically once you walk a certain amount of time the eggs will hatch. So it's a great way of leveling up, getting rare Pokemon, as well as doing it in a cheap way, which is pretty much with your car. So I wouldn't recommend it. I want to win this game legitimately, but that is a method if you really just want to hack your way to a success. Now the final tip I want to share with you, holy crap, this place is... Okay, the reason why I'm scared is because no one else is here, and is legitimately some type of like monument park for like amateur art, which is something to be respectful. Just because it's amateur doesn't mean it's bad, but the point is no one else is here. There's no other Pokemon Go players, and it's getting dark outside, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to, like supposedly I am, because there's no gatekeepers or like they didn't charge money, but I'm pretty sure this thing isn't free because there's a freaking gift shop nearby. Okay, so this is going to be interesting, to say the least. The game is still not even loaded, so the whole thing's kind of going to crap. But as of so far, I've definitely walked through a lot of this trail, and it seems like it's free, which means that I can probably walk through this area with no real problem and just get a ton of Pokestops. This thing failed again loading, so I have to reload it. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and yeah, this is going to be very interesting. The reason why I'm scared, or not really scared, but the reason why I'm a bit, you know, cautious is because I discovered this place yesterday, and when I arrived, I talked to the people at the gift shop thing, and just by how it looked and stuff, they said, oh, we closed our gates early on and you're not allowed in here, and then if you leave your stuff in here, we're gonna lock the gates and you can't get out. And literally, like, apparently the gift shop has like a museum behind it. So long story short, this whole place, I don't even know, I could be locked in here playing Pokemongo until the light of day. The crazy part is, with such a Pokestop haven, I don't see a single person, even though I saw that like kid yesterday who literally had a flashlight on and was going through these Pokestops in the dark of night. So that's interesting to say the least. Yeah, not a single person. What the heck? And I can't even catch Pokemon because this thing won't load. Okay, so that's interesting to say the least. But yeah, I am in a Pokemon Go heaven, except that I can't really play. So it's kind of like a Pokemon hell, or at least that, what's that phrase called? There's this quote, it basically goes, heaven is like sitting at a feast. Hell is like sitting at a feast but being unable to feed yourself. And this is kind of what it's like. I can't do anything. And it's starting to get sketchy. There's no one here. And okay, I think I'm lost now. I don't know where the heck I am. This was supposed to be like a small park. I didn't know it was getting so deep, but well, that does make sense considering there's 13 Pokestops. But good lord, look at that tree. Okay, so yeah, if I upload this video, that means that I have somehow safely managed to come back. Well, look right there. It's a Rattata. We're gonna catch that thing. Ah, I ran off. God dang it, it still won't load. This is retarded. So here I am stuck in this place. I'm thinking of retracing my steps now because I think I'm a bit lost, and without this GPS I don't know if I can find my way out, and even if I do, well, that's interesting. Okay, so sorry for going on too long. The point is that yeah, try and find a cluster of Pokestops. Use your time in the game walking, and understand that that's more important than just Pokestops. If you have that time to leverage, you can beat someone with 1,000,000 Pokestops. And then the last thing, of course, is literally to look. It's an Oddish. I'm just kidding. The last thing, of course, is to just have fun. And if you want to cheat, you can use a car, which is what a lot of people seem to be doing, and that's why they literally have huge like CP 2000 Pokemon already, which is ridiculous. Now the final thing I have to say is regarding Pokemon Go in general. So first off, about 5 days ago I was playing Pokemon Go, and I found a cluster of maybe 3 to 4 Pokestops. Not incredible, but decent, right? And I stayed there for about 2 hours, just, you know, running between the Pokestops. Now every 15 minutes a car would drive through, and it'd be some person. Sometimes it would be a black person, sometimes it'd be white, sometimes it'd be a black girl, sometimes it'd be a white girl, sometimes it'd be an old man. And the point is, a good majority of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, they literally had their phone literally hidden below them like this, literally almost like they were trying to hide it. Like, why are you trying to hide the fact that you're playing this on the down low? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're gonna play the game, just play the game. It's gone mainstream now, so everyone's playing it, and well, not everyone, but a lot of people. And for me, coming from a time when I used to be the only person in the world to play the game, and there's only like a small subsection of, you know, the Asian people in the school who played the game, it's kind of weird now that everyone plays it and it's mainstream, and like every YouTuber talks about it and every YouTuber has a video on it. It's kind of weird seeing that, and I can't say I like the whole mainstream thing about it, but I guess the point is just to like stop worrying so much about who's watching or who cares. Like, it didn't even make sense that they would drive there, go to the Pokestops, and then leave. Why not just park your car, talk to some of us? And if you don't want to talk, it's probably more efficient if you just walk through the Pokestops rather than driving God knows how many miles to find one other Pokestop to replenish your supplies or whatever. And the game won't let me in again. So there you have it, the 13 Pokestop heaven. Now, you're probably not going to find something like this, but again, that's not the point. I guarantee you that I will probably not be able to spend more than an hour playing this game every day. And there's going to be some nerd who has 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day of free time who doesn't have as many Pokestops as me, but he will beat me. So realize it's not all about Pokestops, but it is beneficial if you can't find it. So take some more time to explore your area. You might be able to find something that you might have missed or you might have thought otherwise. Look at churches, look at monuments. Use Yelp, because Yelp has now, they have an option on there that literally says find Pokestops nearby, and it literally does a geographic search for you. Now, note, if only a few things come up on Yelp, that doesn't mean there's only a few things in your area. I found this out the hard way. There was only like 4 or 5 things on Yelp for me, but then when I actually drove around, I found probably 30-ish, and that was spread out over a long area, but it clearly proved that Yelp isn't accurate. So I'm guessing Yelp, maybe, I'm not really sure what they're doing. I guess they're scraping data somehow, or they're just trying to work with Nintendo to figure it out. But it's very clear right now that Yelp is not accurate completely, so keep that in mind. Now, right now the servers keep crashing, but it is such an interesting thing. I don't know if this is going to be a trend that dies away within a week. I'm hoping not, because I just find it really fun, and it's partially cool that such a game that I used to play is now become more mainstream and accepted. But at the same time, it's also like it's maybe too mainstream. And it's really funny because the first week it was released, I didn't really play it that much, simply because I thought it was just, you know, overhyped, and everyone was talking about it, everyone I knew, even people who never played video games. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to take a break from this. But then I finally got into it, and I was kind of like, maybe I should have started earlier, because now I'm behind everyone. But just keep that in mind. And the last big thing I wanted to say, because quite frankly, I can't do anything because it won't let me connect. The last thing I want to say is that as far as the Pokemon Go nerds out there, I'm just amazed, because back in the day, I sound like I'm an old guy, but back in the day when I used to play, there was no wireless connection, and battles or trading was a relatively new thing, but we thought it was just so cool just to have a cable to connect with someone else's Game Boy to battle or trade Pokemon. And the problem with that was that you know, the only ways I found other people who played were through word of mouth, or I met them, or someone told me. It was usually because I met them and they clearly showed that they were playing it and they didn't hide it. So nowadays, it kind of just opened my eyes a bit. Maybe it's also because it's more mainstream, but I literally went to maybe 20 to 30 different gyms in the area, and I was just blown away because it's only been like 2 weeks since the release of the game, and almost at every gym there's some nerd there who's already level like CP 1500 or CP 2000 something, or CP 3000 or CP 4000, and it's just like, wow, I didn't know there's so many nerds in my area all around me who play this game, even though it just seems like I'm kind of alone in this world, but not really, because all these people are playing. And even though it looks deserted like it is now, literally there's like no Pokemon Go players around. Maybe it's because they closed this park thing, but maybe not. And the point is that it's cool to actually go to a gym and be shown that, hey, I'm not alone. There are plenty of nerds here. They're just hidden, or whatever the reason, they're just not, you don't see anyone playing, but I guarantee you there's some Pokemaster out there. So that ends the video, and my question to you is, who will be the first to catch them all? 1, 2, 3. Just 3? No, 4. Just 4? No, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A gym. 12, 13. 13 Pokestops. Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and a gym, and I'm missing one, I'm guessing. But the point is, there's a lot. There's a lot, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,